Hey you guys, welcome back to Angel Angela. As you guys can see by the description, by the title of the video, we are going to be talking about 3 senses that you will need in this narcissist world. 3 senses that you will need in this narcissist world. On this video, I want you guys to open your hearts up and understand the seriousness and the effects of these narcissists on your everyday basis. And I'm making this video specifically because the weekend is over and we're going to start a new week. And the narcissist never sleeps. Evil never sleeps, you guys. So in order for us to stay away from evil, we must wake up in the morning and understand that evil is ready to attack us, and it's going to attack us through our fears. This is why we have to be fearless, and we have to create fearless children, because it starts when you're in the womb. This is where your senses start, in the womb. If your parent is not feeling like she's being loved, those hormones are passed on to you and you develop those senses instead of, that motherly instinct that you need. The 3 most important narcissist senses that you guys need to pay very close attention to before you leave your homes, before you get your thoughts together, before you go out into the world. A lot of times we wake up in the morning, we pray, and we're praying on our own demise. And some of us wake up in the morning and we don't think about anything. We just go straight to the kitchen, make our coffees, get the kids ready. Some of us just go to work, go to school, go out and about, and we're not thinking of anything. How do you know if you're conscious or unconscious at that moment? Are you awake? Are you in a state of awareness? Because the first thing you should know when waking up in the morning is that you're getting ready to explore the world, and every day is going to be a different day, no matter what your routine is. Are you actually conscious that you're awake? Are you conscious that you're ready to go out into the world to follow a dream, to protect your family, and you can actually go out into the world and go into a nightmare? You have to be prepared for that. So you have to be intuitive and know your senses. So wake up, you guys. Wake up and wake your children up. And I'm not talking about wake them up in the morning for breakfast. I mean, wake them up in the morning for all the fear that will be attacking your children. There's bullies, there's all type of energies. And this is why you have to prepare your children for their ability to be intuitive with their senses. We always talk about see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. But a lot of us don't understand that all 3 of those things are our senses. The first one, sight. Most of the time, we can spot people by sight. No one has to tell us that someone is looking at us. We can see them for ourselves unless you're blind. And, it gets deeper because people who might be deficient in one of their senses will overpower all the other senses. That's why the senses are important within the family unit. You can feel when someone is in balance. It's all about survival with the narcissist, and it should be about survival for you too. So sight is always going to be important. You can look into the narcissist's eyes. Automatically, you're going to feel something's not right. Something's going to tell you that this animal, this human, is not the type of human you want to be around. But what happens is that a lot of times the narcissist clouds your judgment, and then you end up telling the narcissist, "Oh, I had a bad perception of you. oh, I thought you were mean. I thought you were this way, because they have tapped into your intuition to knock your senses off away far from who they are. So always remember that your sight is very important when dealing with a narcissist. When a narcissist is showing you who they are, believe them. Do not be fooled. When you are seeing things that don't seem, quite right to you, maybe you're at a party and then someone starts fighting, leave. You don't know whether someone has a gun or someone will come back with a gun. These are our natural senses. When you see something that is evil, leave. The second sense that you have to pay attention to is hearing. Your sense of hearing. When you hear someone talking bad about you, when someone is telling you one thing, but then you're using your sight and it doesn't sound, what they're saying doesn't sound right. If you can't hear this person and the words they're saying to you and say, hey, something about this doesn't sound right because yesterday they said something else to me. Your sense of hearing is very important when dealing with narcissistic people. The moment they're talking about their friends and their family members and anything evil, stay away from these people. Speaking evil things of others creates realities for everyone. So pay attention to their speech. So when someone is speaking evil, when you see evil, and when you hear it, these are the main basic senses that you need to make it into this narcissistic world. This is why narcissists, they confuse you. They block your intuition, your senses. They, after that, start to attack you and tell you who you are. They tell you who you are. And you're fearful and you're trying to defend yourself instead of walking away and removing these people from your life, because these people want to cause fear onto you. So in order for the narcissist to feed off of your fear, they have to feed off of your intuition. So what is your intuition, you guys? What is your intuition? Your intuition, you guys, is the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. Meaning that you do not have to be awake in a state of awareness consciously. You do not have to be conscious. You don't have to be aware. When someone attacks your intuition, they are literally hijacking you from your natural source of power. Your natural source of power lies within your intuition. So if a person hijacks your intuition, they are hijacking your state of awareness. And if someone hijacks your state of awareness, you are asleep. No one can do anything to you unless you're asleep. This is why when you wake up out of this narcissistic matrix, you feel like you were used. You feel like you were raped because you feel as if, wow, I was not even who I am now. I wasn't aware that this person was using me. I wasn't aware. Your senses are the things that will tell you who this person is before you get in too deep. And this is why you should always trust your gut feeling. This is why when you're taking a test and you know the answer and something kind of tells you, I'm not sure, it's the fear. It's the fear. You know the answer. So put down the answer. You know the answer. The answer is this person is a narcissist. You know the answer. You can spot these people now. You had to go through what you went through so that your senses can develop, so that your senses can get strong, because somewhere down the line, those senses were not matured the way they were supposed to mature, because the people around you were also hijacked from their state of awareness, from their intuition, from the things that they naturally are here for, but someone hijacked them into believing things that do not exist. This is why people will get gang stalked, and this is why you will get attacked by all these different cults and these different groups, because these people their bodies are hijacked. They're not living off their conscious mind. They're not living off the state of awareness. They are not awake. They are asleep. They can't use their intuition because someone is using it for them. So this is why your three senses are very important to understand and to know before leaving your house every single day. The thing about your intuition and your senses is that when you're dealing with a narcissist and the relationship ends, you need time for healing. Because once you get clarity, your senses and your intuition have grown. And not only that, you are in a state of awareness and you are awake now. You went to sleep when you were with the narcissist, but now you're awake again. And once you heal, you will develop other senses because now you have passed the test. This is why you will be able to spot other narcissists right away. Not only that, but then your senses get stronger. You know when someone's at the door. You know when someone's getting ready to call you. You know when someone has just pulled into your driveway. You know what someone is thinking about you. You know what someone is thinking. They might not say it. You might not even know this person, but you know what they think about you. You might call someone in your mind just by thinking about them, and then they call you back. You might build a bond with someone using your senses where you guys can literally have a conversation without having to say any words. The narcissist, gang stalkers in your life are the people who are blocking you from all these senses in order for you to keep growing. They do not want you to be conscious. They do not want you to be in a state of awareness. Let's get that clear. That's what the narcissist does, and this is what they're here for. We have many senses: the smell, the touch. We can feel when someone is doing us wrong just by them touching us. When you have sex with the narcissist, something doesn't feel right. That's because that's your senses. Something isn't right. And these narcissists will tell you, are you psychic? Are you psychic? You think you know everything. You think you know everything. And it's not that you're crazy. It's that you have senses that narcissistic people are trying to literally attack, and they're using fear and your senses against you. So it is very important to be intuitive with yourself before leaving your house every single day, not only for yourself, but for your children. Narcissists feed off fear. They will tap into your intuition and they will take all those senses away from you. This is why some of them are so disrespectful and they call you crazy and they tell you you need some sense knocked into you. Your senses are very important, you guys, and I hope you guys understand this very important thing. Speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. So you know me, I always like sharing stories and examples before signing off. So let me give you a couple of examples that I have used, with my senses. I can always tell before someone comes into my property. I can always sense people's energies when I meet them. I can usually know if you're a good or bad person. Sometimes if I'm not sure, I give myself a little bit more time. I always pay attention to the words and how people use their words. I can tell whether someone is in a conscious state of awareness or asleep. I know how to deal with both sides of the spectrum. And I know how to get away from unnecessary situations. So when you start to get further and further into your senses, you guys, you will realize that you can hear people's thoughts. You don't really know what they're saying, but you basically know what they're saying. You can feel people. You can feel what they feel about you. You can feel what they've been through. You can feel their motives. So when I was dating, you guys, I had ran across this guy who was older than me. And after I told him my age, he continued to question me about my age and kept asking me if I was sure I'm not younger. The first thing that happened was the chills of the hairs on my arms stood up. And then my neck kind of felt a little weak. I looked him in the eyes, and then my heart just felt frozen for a second. And it was like something in my mind said, he's a pedophile. Literally in my mind was he's a pedophile. He's gotten in trouble before, or he almost got in trouble for being with a younger woman. This is all just by hearing, by sight, and by his words. And, I told him, why would I lie about my age? That's immature. You're older than me. You should know that's something immature to do is lie about your age. Why would I have to do that? And then he's like, I just don't want to get in trouble or anything like that. So if you feel like you're going to get in trouble, why even, bother talking to me? And after I've already confirmed to you that, my age and things like that, that's something you shouldn't continue to question or, then tell me, oh, can I see your ID and things like that. So that alone told me this man is older. I'm young, but I'm not that young. And he keeps wanting to make sure. I could understand from, a perspective of someone who doesn't want to get into anything funny, right? But you have more than enough proof to know that I'm an adult. So my senses went completely off the whole time. And sometimes, depending on your situation, you can use these tactics to know who that person is and how to maneuver around these situations. So that's something that I went through, and I listened to my intuition. There's been occasions where, someone, I'm in an area and then someone that is high on drugs passes by. And, I'm not judging anyone that's on drugs, but when you are on, certain drugs, you're not in your conscious mind. So I don't know who is hijacking you. So when you are in situations where someone, in that caliber passes by, sometimes you feel like, oh, that person they're just high. They're just on drugs. They're not going to bother me. They're to themselves. You can feel it and you're not afraid because you can feel it. But there are those people that will walk by you and they're on something and you can feel those evil entities. You can feel the entities and you can feel that those entities are staring at you and staring at your light. And then your senses go crazy and you're like, I need to get away from this area. I need to go. So senses, you guys, are very powerful, very important. I've been in situations where, after I left the area because of my senses, something happened. So always pay attention to your senses. And don't forget, hear no evil, speak no evil, and see no evil.